What's up everyone? Today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Infinitracks now. Infinitracks is one of my favorite archetypes just because I think the art is really cool. And obviously this deck has changed since the last profile I did, which was a while ago, because my last profile had a True King of all Calamities in there. So yeah, it's definitely been a while. And I've been wanting to update it because ever since Calamities got banned, it really hurt this deck a lot because I was like basically the win condition for this deck, so we kind of need a new win condition. And Infinitrack's also got a new card, so without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, I run 3 copies of the Infinitrack Anchor Drill. Anchor Drill, when it's normal special summon, you can special a Earth Machine from your hand in defense position, except of course Anchor Drill. You also target one other machine monster you control. The levels of both this monster and that monster become the combined total level. So let's say you have one of your level 5 Infinitracks. Basically both of them will become a level 9. So this is why we ran Calamities before, because this basically made a free Calamities. But honestly, we don't really have that anymore, so gotta kind of go like in different strategies in. I built this deck as more of a going second deck, because going first, we can't really put up that great of a board. The XYZ monsters are nice, but they're nice going second. Next, I run 3 Harvester. Harvester is your searcher. When it's normal special, you can search an Infinitrack, and like the Anchor Drill, it can take 2 of your Earth Machines, or 2 of your machines, and make their levels combined. So like this and a 5 would be level 7, so they'd both be level 7, so you can make a rank 7. Also run 3 copies of Brutal Dozer. Unfortunately, Brutal Dozer does lock you into Earth Machine, which most of your extra deck is Earth Machine, so we kind of play with that in mind, although we do have some that aren't, which if you don't, you can go into them and then use the Brutal Dozer sometimes. It really depends on your hand. Now Brutal Dozer, when it is a special summon, you can special summon one Infinitrack from the deck but negate its effects. And most of the level 5s can tribute or can special summon themselves by attributing one Earth Machine monster. So like you could say Harvester, for example, roll it, get the search. Let's say you search out Brutal Dozer, you could attribute this for the Brutal Dozer, and then Dozer will special summon an Infinitrack from the deck. I run 3 Trencher. Trencher doesn't really do anything on the field, but when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to special soul and Infinitrack from your grave. So it's pretty good for extending. Also run 3 of the new Infinitrack Road Roller. Now, Road Roller, if it's in the hand or grave, and you tribute summon a Infinitrack monster, or an Earth Machine monster distributed, you special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. And it's got it gives you, when you XYZ summon using this card as material, that XYZ monster gains an effect. Basically, basic monsters your opponent controls are changed to defense position, and if they do, they lose 1,000 defense. So this makes it kind of useful going first, but that's not really doing a whole much, because like for example, let's say a Link monster. Obviously, that's not affected by it. I run the 1 Infinitrack Tunneler. Now, Tunneler, when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to take 5 of your machine monsters, shuffle them back into the deck to draw 2. So it's basically like a Pot of Avarice in a way. Also run 2 copies of Super Express Bullet Train and 2 copies of Heavy Freight Train Dare Crane. Basically, they can summon themselves from the hand, and this essentially fuels your rank 10 plays, because both of them are level 10. Also run 2 copies of Flying Pegasus Trail Stampede. Whenever it's normal special summon, you can special a machine from your graveyard. So that's definitely very good for extending. Also run 1 copy of Therion King Regulus. Since the deck is basically all machines, then summoning Therion would be really easy, and you can search it as well, because multiple cards in this deck search machines from your deck. Also run 1 Ancient Gear Box. Now, if I believe correctly, the last time I made this deck profile, Ballista wasn't out. I'm not 100% sure about that. But if so, that definitely really helps and is very important for the deck. Ballista basically gets a lot of things going. So the first thing is, whenever Ancient Gear Box is added to your hand, you can add one Earth Machine with 500 attack and or defense from the deck. And Ballista, when it's link summoned, literally searches the Ancient Gear Box. So Ballista, use effect to search box effect to add one of your Infinitracks, like you can search Harvester, search Trencher. So that's definitely good. Moving on to spells. I run 3 copies of the Heavy Forward. This is another searcher for Infinitracks. When it's activated, add 1 Infinitrack monster. It's got an additional effect where you can use either change the battle position of an XYZ monster control or attach this card to it as material. Sometimes both of them are useful effects. Now I may be thinking like changing your battle position doesn't really matter too much, But it really does with Infinitracks. More or less because the XYZ monsters. Like if say you go into, let's say, Stormer for example. Then you can link it away for the link 1. Then River Stormer in the Grave has an effect 2 where it can special summon itself and attach the link monster as material. But it summons itself in defense, since it's going second. You can use this to change this to attack, which could be pretty useful. Also run 3 copies of Urgent Schedule to go on Sega Machine deck. You kind of gotta run 3. Schedule is just really good. Because before, when I was talking about the Ancient Gearbox, the Urgent Schedule is basically what allows that to be so good. Because the Ballista is a link too, and this summons 2 machines from the deck, and which you could just use them for the Ballista. Also run 3 copies of Limited Removal. Kind of obvious, go on Second Machine deck. This can basically just help you OTK. Now, another card that honestly I've been thinking has been getting pretty better is Book of Moon. It's a good card to disrupt, and especially in this deck, it kind of works out really well. Because stuff like Dark Roller and Evenly, they make me use a battle phase, and stuff like Lightning Storm and Raigeki, they destroy the monsters, which I don't really want either. More or less because the Infinitracks can pop them, and they can also, when they destroy a monster by battle, they can absorb him as material. Book of Moon is essentially the way to do that without, essentially you can negate its effects without destroying it, or just force your opponent to use up negation. I also got a Call by the Grave for hand traps. As far as traps, it's just standard 3 imperm. Moving on to the extra deck, I run 2 copies of River Stormer. Now, all the XYZ have an effect too where you can, if they're in the graveyard, you can tribute one Infinitrack link monster to special summon itself from the grave, and then it is attached to the XYZ as material. But the other effect of Stormer is a Searcher as well, to take 1 Earth Machine monster from your deck and add it to your hand, or send it to the graveyard. So literally this can search Regulus if you need that. I run 1 of the Mountain Smasher. Mountain Smasher is the worst of the 3 Infinitrack XYZ monsters. The only reason I run 1 copy because there might be a situation to where you can only make rank 7. All it does is boost its attack, that's really it. I also run 3 Earth Slicer. Earth Slicer is pretty solid. You can detach any number of materials from this card that target that many cards in the field, destroy them. So this is also a card that's really good at removing cards, and as I mentioned before, all the Infinitracks, when they destroy a monster by battle, they can gain that card as material. Also run 2 Super Dreadnought Volcanic Gust at max, because like I said before, with the level 10 monsters, it helps you go into rank 10 plays, which you can then use to do a little bit of burn damage to kind of help seal the game. Also run 1 Libe. It'll come up sometimes, but not too much. Also run a Zeus as well. I run 3 Infinitrack Goliath. Goliath requires a 1 non-link Infinitrack monster, and when this card is attached to an XYZ monster, that card cannot be destroyed by battle, while this is attached as material, or cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it gives it a lot of protection. Also got an Infinitrack Fortress Mega Clouds, which I'll be honest, it very rarely comes up just because it requires 3 XYZ monsters, which sometimes can happen, but with the way we're building it, it doesn't really happen quite as much. Of course, we got the Ballista, search an Infinitrack monster. Then I got Nightmare Unicorn and Access Code to help close the game out. What do you think of Infinitracks? Think it's a pretty solid deck? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time I make. Bye.